600 miles per hour to zero. When a human body is subjected to that kind of sudden, violent deceleration, it stops being a person and just becomes a terrifying equation of raw physics. In the 1950s, a pilot pulling the handle on an aviation ejection seat was instantly hit with intense, hyper-concentrated forces. I mean, forces that would literally tear a human body apart if it wasn't perfectly, flawlessly restrained. It's this incredibly demanding, high-stakes environment where a literal split second of rapid acceleration dictates whether you live or die.
And that extreme, violent environment is exactly where we find ourselves in 1958. Swedish engineer Nils Bohlin is making a career change. He's transitioning directly from designing those wild Saab aircraft ejection seats into, well, a very different arena, Volvo's automotive safety division. Now, obviously, you can't just unbolt a military ejection seat and drop it into a family station wagon, but what Bohlin brought with him was this profound, deeply practical understanding of force. He knew exactly how a body needs support and how a restraint has to engage quickly and predictably. See, the mid-century standard for car safety was dangerously inadequate. We're talking about the old two-point lap belt. Sure, it secured your pelvis, but it offered absolutely zero direct support across the chest. None. In a sudden crash, the upper body was just left completely vulnerable, violently snapping forward like a whip. So Bohlin's goal was to find a new geometry. He wanted a three-point geometry that could take those sudden, massive deceleration forces and distribute them across the strongest bones in the body without crushing your vulnerable internal organs. But here's the thing, and this is where Bohlin's true genius kicks in. He wasn't just mastering crash physics, he was mastering human laziness. Think about it. He faced a really profound question. What good is a mathematically brilliant restraint system if it just remains completely unused? He realized that if a belt was even slightly difficult to reach, or confusing to fasten, or just annoying to wear, ordinary drivers simply wouldn't use it for a quick trip to the grocery store. Suddenly, safety wasn't just an engineering hurdle anymore. It was literally an exercise in user experience design. The solution meant balancing those extreme, life-or-death physics with, everyday human behavior. Bohlin designed a system that worked in the seamless, almost invisible sequence. You hold the pelvis, guide the upper torso, and do it all in a way that can be fastened with just one hand. It's brilliant. By joining a lap belt and a diagonal shoulder belt into one continuous web, anyone could effortlessly draw the whole assembly across their body in a single, fluid motion. And this sparked a massive tectonic shift in the auto industry. In 1959, Volvo rolled this totally new geometry out, but not as some specialized, expensive luxury accessory that buyers had to specifically ask for. No way. For the Nordic market PV544 and the Amazon 120 series, this was standard front seat equipment. The hardware was just there. It arrived already built into the vehicles, quietly waiting for ordinary, everyday journeys. And then comes July 10, 1962, and Volvo secures U.S. patent 30,43625. Now, in the corporate world, this is the exact moment a company locks down their intellectual property to ruthlessly corner the market, right? But Volvo did the exact opposite. Literally the opposite. They deliberately left the patent open. They made this incredibly valuable design freely available to their fiercest, most direct competitors. They actually chose to accelerate global survival over guarding a monopoly. But here is the crazy part. Despite this rapid evolution from that initial Swedish priority claim in August 1958 to standard equipment a year later to the US patent in 1962, human habits proved remarkably hard to break. Even with this life-saving design freely available everywhere, public acceptance advanced at an absolute crawl. Motorists actually objected to the inconvenience. They doubted they even needed it on familiar neighborhood roads, and they just stubbornly stuck to their old ways. The world didn't need more laboratory theories, it needed undeniable in-your-face proof. And that proof finally arrived with a deafening thud in 1967. Bohlin published an absolutely groundbreaking SAE study. He analyzed a staggering 28,000 actual accident cases involving over 37,500 real occupants. This was the turning point, for sure. It finally replaced controlled, sterile laboratory theories with cold, hard, real-world evidence from ordinary traffic crashes. It quantified the protection so clearly, so undeniably, that it completely shattered all that lingering public resistance. The entire logic of human safety shifted from a crude, useless strap to an organized path of continuous restraint. Which leaves us with the quiet reality of a parked car today. No pilots, no ejection handles, just a piece of webbing running from the upper pillar to a bright buckle. lying completely flat across an empty seat in a clean diagonal line.